Hi guys, welcome back to Vanya Between Pages. Grab a snack and let's get into today's video. In today's video, I'm gonna be doing the mid-year book tag. Since we're halfway through the year, I thought it would be a really good idea to go back and see all the books I've read in the first half of the year to answer some fun questions. And that's what we're gonna be doing in this video. We're gonna be answering 12 different questions using the books I've read in the first half of the year. The only rule I have to follow is that I can't use the same book twice, but I am allowed to use books in the same series or universe to answer questions. Also, I'm not the creator of this tag. It has been going around on the internet for quite a while, so I'm also not sure who's the original creator. But yeah, props to them. And without further ado, let's get into today's video. Best book you've read so far this year. Okay guys, so I have been talking a lot about this book, so it's not a surprise for anyone who's seen my videos. But yeah, this is a 5-star book for me. I love it so much. I love this author so much. And going back and seeing all the books I've read, this is for sure the best one so far. I have high hopes for the second one. I think it's gonna be way better. I'm like more than halfway through it and it's 5 stars so far. The book I'm talking about is The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson. I've talked a lot about this book, especially on my last video. It's called Every Book I Have Ever Given 5 stars, so you should check that out for sure. But yeah, this book is about like different characters. We have Kaladin, Shallan, Dalinar, and yeah, they have different stories and they have different goals they want to achieve. But something's gonna happen, some catastrophe is gonna happen that's gonna bring their fates together. So yes, this is a really good book. Fantasy. It has around 1,000 pages, so it's long. It's a break, as you can see, but it's 100% worth it. I love Brandon Sanderson. He's such a great author. He knows a lot how to like build a new fantasy universe, and this is really hard, especially if you haven't like read any fantasies before. But if you put your time and your mind to it, I think you can definitely read this book, and I 100% recommend. Best sequel you've read so far this year. I haven't read that many sequels this first half of the year. I've been starting a lot of different series, that's for sure, but not that many sequels. However, as I was looking at the list of books I read, I noticed this book that I gave 5 stars to. I also talked about this in my previous video, so check that out. But I'm talking about City of Heavenly Fire by Cassandra Clare. This is the 6th and last book in the Mortal Instruments series, and I really can't explain what this is about without giving you any spoilers. But in general, the Shadowhunters Chronicles talks about the Shadowhunters, a group of heroes that have to protect humankind from demons that jump into our dimension. And that's basically it. This is the last book in the series, and it's so good. Going into this, I was so scared for the fate of every single character. I love them all. And I thought they were gonna die. Not kidding. I thought they were gonna die. But yes, you have to read this book to figure what happens, to understand what the situation is. And this is really good, especially if you like fantasy and if you like romance in books. There's a lot of romance in here. A 2026 release you haven't read yet, but can't wait to pick up. This novel is definitely not up my alley, but I have heard a lot about this book and I'm so excited to read this. There's something about the cover and I don't know, just like the vibes it gives me that makes me want to read it so bad. And this is not something I would normally read, but with this book, I can't wait to get into it. And I'm talking about Yesteryear by Carol Claire Burke. And this is a really popular book, especially in Book Talk. I've heard a lot about this book. From what I've heard, I think it's about this trad wife influencer who has the perfect life, the perfect husband, and then something happens and she travels back to the past, like the 1800s, and there she has to face like different hardships from the time period, and now the husband is like really abusive and stuff like that. So I really want to see what happens, why she travels back in the future, and especially like how she changes as she like goes through this. So I'm really excited to read it. I'm for sure gonna try to read it in this second half of the year. So yes, I'm excited. Biggest disappointment so far this year. There were two books that disappointed me a lot this year. The first one was The Housemaid by Frida McFadden, but this book I'm gonna talk to you guys about disappointed me the most because I had high expectations going into it. And yes, I had also heard a lot about this book. It's a collection of poems, and everyone was saying, like, oh, this is so good. She's such a good author. And yes, I believe that. So I got into this book, and it wasn't what I was expecting. I'm talking about The Sun and Her Flowers by Rupi Kaur. This is a very short book. It's a collection of poems, as I told you. And the thing with this, I think it has a great idea, a great structure. It's about like human growth, and the author connects it to like five different stages in flowers' life. Like we have like wilting, growing, stuff like that. Yeah, like wilting, falling, rooting, rising, blooming. And I thought that was such a great idea. But my problem with this book is that most of the poems are like 2 or 3 sentences long. And I don't want to be mean or anything, but most of them felt like a Pinterest quote that you can see like 24/7 or every morning. And I didn't really like that because this is supposed to be like deep or like a little more like thought out, and it didn't feel like that. And then there were also like really long poems all of the sudden, like 2 or 3 pages long, and it was like a bunch of nothing. It was like everything she wanted to say she said in like the first 2 sentences, and then the rest of the stanzas were like really repetitive and nothing really new. So I didn't really like this at all. And yeah, it was like just not it for me. I was missing the deepness and like a connection with this book. So yeah, I don't think I will be reading anything else by her. Yeah. Biggest surprise so far this year. Okay, so this is the total opposite from last question, and I'm really, really excited to talk about this book. I'm talking about Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. As you guys know, I love classics, and this was a good classic. Something that really surprised me a lot when I got into it is that I used to think Frankenstein was the monster, when in reality, Frankenstein is the human that creates the monster, gives life to it. So I don't know, I was really surprised. I think this is so interesting how this is like a common misconception. And I think it speaks a lot about like what the author was trying to do, because this book talks a lot about like what makes someone human. Is it like appearance, or is it like your morals, or is it like a mix of both? And I think it's really interesting how these two, like Frankenstein and the monster ideas, have meshed together as the time has gone by. This really speaks a lot as to what the author did with Frankenstein's character, because he is actually a monster if you read the book, and everything that happened was a consequence of his actions. So I think that speaks a lot about like human nature, and I think that's really important, and everyone should read this book at least once in their lifetimes. And I'm just like amazed when I found out she was like 19 when she wrote this book. So talented, so smart, and 100% recommend. I need to watch the movie, especially the Netflix one, the one that just came out. But yes, let me guys know in the comments if you've watched the movies, if you read the book, and if you haven't, please do. It's such a good classic. Neo fictional crush. Okay, for some reason, of all the books I've read, I haven't really found any new fictional crush. And yeah, I guess that makes sense because I've been really reading a lot of Brandon Sanderson and like high fantasy, and they don't really focus on romance, so I guess that makes sense. But if I have to choose one from all the books I've read, it definitely has to be Levi from Love on the Brain by Ali Hazelwood. However, this is not a book I really, really liked. I think I gave it like 3.5 stars. But my problem with this book is that it's just a copy of the Love Hypothesis, and that's the thing with Ali Hazelwood. Like all her books are just the same story told from like a different point of view, and that's okay. I guess I have fun. I love the Love Hypothesis. It's like a 5-star read for me, and it's one of my favorite romances. But in this book, I couldn't really stand B, the main character, her. But the thing with Levi is that he was a good guy. He was a good boyfriend, a good book boyfriend. So yes, I'm not complaining that I have to choose him for this question, but it's definitely like not as good as Adam Carson. That's for sure. New favorite character. I'm gonna be cheating a little bit on this one because I read this series in the second half of 2025, but I did read a short story, or well, a novella from this universe in the first half of 2026. So I guess it counts. But I'm talking about Kelsier from the Mistborn series by Brandon Sanderson. Now, the thing with Kelsier, I've never read a character that had so much influence and power over the whole universe. And I'm being so serious right now. Kelsier is so powerful, so smart, so funny, so good looking. I don't know. He has everything. He's such a great fantasy character. He's a great leader, and if you read this book, you're gonna notice like how powerful he is as the story progresses. And it's so interesting. I've never read anything quite like this in a fantasy world. And yes, like you can see like he thinks about everything, like every single thing he does has a repercussion in the future, and it's so interesting to read. So definitely read Miss Born by Brendan Sanderson. It's a trilogy, and there's two short stories, or one short story and a novella. So it's definitely worth it. If you want to start with Brendan Sanderson, I think this is a good idea. I also really want to do like a Cosmere reading order video. So if you guys are interested in that, let me know. I would be talking about every single book Brendan Sanderson has written in novella and short story, and I would be giving you guys a reading order in the Cosmere and non-Cosmere books. Also, special shout out to Kaladin and Dalinar from the Stormblood Archive series. I couldn't talk about them because I did mention the Way of Kings for the first question, and I haven't really finished Words of Radiance, so I can't use that one either. But yes, they are great characters as well, and definitely one of my favorites. Book that broke your heart the most so far this year. Okay, so I don't really read sad books. I've never read like a sad book, but this novel, well, this book really broke my heart because I was scared for the fate of the characters. The ending of this book was like such a cliffhanger. I couldn't wait to get into the last one. And this book has everything. It has romance, it has friendships, it has like enemies, it has fights, rebellions, it has everything. So such a great fantasy. Again, I love fantasies. And I'm talking about City of Lost Souls by Cassandra Clare. This is the fifth book in the Mortal Instruments. So now you understand why I said the sixth book for the second question, which was best sequel you've read so far. But yeah, this book is so interesting. It left on a cliffhanger. It was amazing. It left me speechless. I couldn't wait to get into the last book, and I was so scared for the fate of the characters. So this is 100% worth it. Read The Shadowhunters Chronicles, book that made you the happiest so far this year. This book is not a happy book by any means. This is not meant to be happy, but the reason I'm choosing this book for this particular question is because when I read it in like 3 hours. And this hadn't happened to me in quite a while. It was so easy and so simple to read. It was really like YA. Every character was like really young, really stupid in a way. But yes, it was really fun. I couldn't stand up until I finished the book. So if you're looking for like a simple, easy reading for like a beach day or just like for the summer, I think this is really the book you should be reading. And I'm talking about The Naturals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This is the first book in a series. It's 4 books total, and I think there's a short story or a novella at the end. Don't quote me on that, I might be wrong. But yes, this is so easy to read, such a short book, and it's really interesting, really simple. But yeah, like you really can't take the characters seriously, but that's fine, like that's good for like a beach day, or when you need a palate cleanse between more serious or hard books to read. So yes, this is definitely a good book if you're looking for that. Favorite book to screen adaptation you watched this year? Okay, so I've watched a lot of book to screen adaptations, a lot of movies, a lot of shows, and there's some really good ones and some really bad ones. But the one I'm gonna talk to you guys about, it's really, really good to the point that it has won like a lot of awards, Oscars for best acting, I think. And yes, a lot of awards. So that is like proof that this is a really good one. And I'm talking about Fences, starring Denzel Washington and Viola Davis. Now, the thing with this movie, it's an adaptation from a play, so the script is spot on. Also, the costumes, the acting, everything, like the scenery, the house, everything, it's spot on. This is such a great movie, and it really showcases every single theme and feeling that the play was portraying when you read it. So definitely check this movie out. The thing here is that if you pay attention to like every single thing that's on screen, you can really see like the amount of respect everyone involved had when making this movie. It is such like, oh, it's like art. It's the definition of art. You can see the amount of respect everyone had for the play and also for the movie they were filming. It's such a great movie. I think everyone should watch it even if you haven't read the play, because it's basically the same. It's so good. It's so good. I don't think I've ever seen like an adaptation that has like every single is seen in the play in the movie, which again makes sense because it's a play. But yes, 100% check that out. It's such a good movie. Favorite video you've made this year? Definitely my first video. It's titled I'm New to Booktube, Here's What I Read. And I had so much fun making that video and editing the video. If I'm not wrong, I made like a mini reading vlog. I also started a book journal, and I also took you guys to different little free libraries. So it was really fun to make. I was really excited to get started on booktube. But yeah, if you want to see it, it's up in my channel, and that would really be appreciated if you did. And also, I know there will be many more videos to come that will definitely be better, but that video holds a special place in my heart for sure. Which books do you want to read before the end of the year? I don't know why, but I've been wanting to reread the whole Percy Jackson universe. And I'm talking about like Percy Jackson and the Olympians, Percy Jackson and the Heroes of Olympus, Magnus Chase, the King Chronicles, the Apollo series, everything. I want to reread everything. And I don't know, it just happens to me like randomly. I want to reread series that I love. And in this case, it's Percy Jackson. So hopefully I will get the chance and I will get the time to reread them in the second half of the year. I also want to read Ricochet, which is the second book in the Calloway Sisters series. I read Addicted to You, I think that's the title, I think like a year or two ago. And I had a good time reading it. I'm excited to see how the story continues to develop. And I've also heard a lot about it on BookTube. So it definitely has high expectations for me. But yes, I'm excited to read that. I don't know when though, because every time I want to read it, there's like a book that I want to read more, so I jump into those instead of Ricochet, but it will be happening soon. And lastly, I also want to keep reading the Natural series by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I talked to you guys about it on like the previous question. I had so much fun. It was so easy to read, and I want to see what happens with the characters. And that's the mid-year book tag. Thank you guys for staying till the end, and thank you guys for watching. I would love to know your answers to certain questions in the comments, so definitely go write. I will be reading. I'm always looking for new recommendations. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like it up and subscribe. Also activate the notifications so YouTube can let you guys know whenever I post a new video. That's all for me today, but thank you guys for watching, and I will see you soon with more bookish content in my next video. Bye!